Buenos Aires vlog. Today we're going to be talking about things that I still can't understand after living in Buenos Aires for close to 2 years now. And the first thing that we absolutely have to talk about, this blows my mind every single day, is how crazy the drivers are here. I'm talking about people who regularly drive, to your Uber driver, to your taxi driver, to the bus drivers. Literally everyone drives so insanely. And I kid you not, 30 minutes ago, I saw someone crossing the street. It was their turn to cross the street, and he literally almost got hit by a car. Like, I kid you not, he had to jump out of the way of the car to not get hit. It blows my mind every single day. And we've seen multiple car crashes too. I don't think I've ever seen a car crash in the US. Here, I've seen more than I should. I don't understand, and it gets me literally so often, is the fact that things are consistently closed here on a Monday. Like, I get Sunday, I get even Saturday too, but Monday's a little bit strange to me. The amount of cafes we've tried to go to and didn't realize they were closed on a Monday. My very first time here in Buenos Aires, we wanted to go to the Eco Parque, and I didn't realize it was closed on a Monday. We made our way all the way out there, and then we couldn't get in because it was closed on a Monday. So Monday just seems like a strange day to me, but it's probably because I'm not from here, and things in the US, they're just kind of open all the time, especially cafes. I feel like if Monday is the day where people aren't working, I feel like the cafe should be open on a Monday for people to go there. I feel like that would be a really good business opportunity. So that's still one thing that I don't understand. Third thing that I cannot understand, but I respect and appreciate a lot, is that people here can make plans the day of, even 30 minutes prior, and somehow everyone is able to make it to the event or whatever they have going on. In the US, I feel like it's a very planning-based culture, and if like I don't have you in my schedule 3 business days prior and on my Google Calendar, it's like, that's a little bit exaggerated, but like I feel like things are planned so far in advance in the US, for like a week before if you want to go get cafe or like go out or do something like that. But here, people can just make a plan the day of, 10 minutes before, and somehow everyone makes it. It's very, very, very impressive. And this is kind of similar to the last one I just mentioned, and it's very funny because we're in Palermo today. I wanted to come to Palermo because I thought this place would be the best place to film this video, because this is a place that most tourists come to. This next one is the late night culture, which I feel like for a lot of people, it's like the highlight of being in Buenos Aires or in Argentina. So there's going out, staying out until the sunrise, we all know that, but there's also the fact of eating dinner really late. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. Just me personally, when I eat dinner at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night and I go to sleep, it's just like it doesn't sit well in my stomach. But like if you eat dinner and then you're up and you're still doing things, I can see that. But like for me, eating dinner at that time is impossible because it just doesn't sit well. So yes, I've been here in Buenos Aires for close to 2 years and I'm still eating dinner at like 6 o'clock at night. So it's still nice to keep things from your culture even while you live in a different culture. That's one of the things that I've kept out of necessity. Beautiful noises of construction. The next thing I wanted to talk about, that it's so recent. It has not been like this, but within like the last year or so, There's been so much construction going on in this city, like full buildings just being knocked down, replaced with like sky-high apartment buildings. And I know that this is relatively new, but it's like old streets I used to walk down and very quiet residential neighborhoods are now just filled with so much
construction going on.
so many old beautiful houses have been knocked down and replaced with newer modern apartment buildings, which I can understand if more people are moving to the city and we need more housing. That completely makes sense to me, but it's like the old residential neighborhoods I used to love walking by because they were quiet, they had so many houses, and it's just now replaced with so much construction and so much noise, and it definitely changes the experience a little bit. Which I wish I included this in my Hidden Gems video because I love this chain, and if you're looking for a really good big media luna, I highly recommend this place. I love the media lunas that they have here, but I did not get that for lunch today. Instead I got a wrap. And that brings me to the next thing that really shocks people coming to Buenos Aires for the very first time, and that is the price of like literally everything and how the prices have skyrocketed so much within like specifically the last year. And I'm talking about the prices of food or groceries or going out to eat or getting a taxi or paying for rent or expenses in your building or the price of clothing. Like everything has gone up so much this last year. And I think it's shocked so many people from the US and Europe because they come to Latin American countries and they think that they're going to be able to afford everything and the price is going to be extremely affordable and they're never going to have to think twice about any price of anything, and that's just not the case here in Buenos Aires. And I know this is a huge topic of conversation with the tourist community or the digital nomad community or the expat community, and specifically for people living here in Buenos Aires. And I understand a lot of changes have happened, but it's still like I think the number one thing I hear people talk about when talking about Buenos Aires. And to talk about what I just paid for lunch, I got a wrap. It was a big wrap with a lot of ingredients in it. It was a chicken wrap with a few fries on the side. I'm trying to justify the price of it. It was actually pretty good, but it costed me like 17,000 pesos, which is like close to 17 USD. I'm in Palermo, so I came here knowing that I was going to be spending more money for something, but still, I feel like this same exact meal 3 years ago could have costed me maybe like 8-ish, 10-ish thousand pesos, close to like 8 to 10 USD. So just to kind of put it into perspective a little bit. My next point I feel like isn't gonna be the best, least controversial thing I've ever said. But being a foreigner, and I'm saying this while I'm in Palermo, it's like a lot of people think that you are multi-millionaire, dollar rich, and you can afford everything. And you don't have to think 2 times about the price of anything. And you see this mostly when you're in ferias and you're trying to buy things locally and things like that. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. A lot of us from the US and Europe, you know, we're on a budget too. And I think a lot of people who come here to Buenos Aires are like younger people, digital nomads, maybe not working full-time, students studying, and that's just not always the case. I was walking past a feria and I heard this guy like looking at a hat or something, and the guy told him it was like 40,000 pesos, and he was like in English like, oh, that's kind of expensive to his friends. So even things here are expensive for us earning in USD or in euros, and for me too. In all honesty, I don't think I will ever understand the gym culture here in Argentina for multiple reasons. One, it's just not as clean as in the US. Like when I tell you the US gym is really clean, it's like after every time you use a machine, you have to wipe it down, like without exceptions. Additionally, every time I'm in the gym, I just feel like people do not understand the aspect of like needing personal space when you're working out. Like if I'm like working out in the gym, like I kid you not, someone will come like right here and walk by like really close to what you're doing, and I think that's really dangerous, especially if like you're squatting or deadlifting or you're benching and people just like basically almost touch your bar. I'm very passionate about this. And another thing, I just don't understand why people I notice just kind of have less knowledge on how to use and treat the equipment in the gym. To give you a specific example, last week when I was in the gym, someone was just dragging the bar on the floor to bring it to where she needed it to go. And I'm big on this, putting the weights away when you're done using them too. The gym culture here, I think in the US is a lot more cleanly, and I think more people are just knowledgeable about all of these things, whereas here, I think it's a little bit less so. But I'm very passionate about this one, so I had to bring it up. I'll still never understand why people consistently ask for your DNI number. You can't have Mercado Pago without it. You can't use Mercado Libre without it. But if you go to the grocery store, it's likely that they'll ask you for it. It's not like as apparent as it used to be a few years ago. I think things have changed. But the fact that you still need to give your DNI for so many things here still is interesting to me, because in the US, it's just not like that. So I don't have like experience with that. And I think just with Mercado Libre specifically and Mercado Pago, like if you don't have a DNI number, if you can't give a DNI number, especially if you're here like as a tourist for 3 months, it makes things a little bit more difficult than they should be. Another thing that kind of boggles my mind, I think it's because I'm from the US, is the fact that there is so much national pride here. And I say that in a good way. Obviously, that is such a good thing to be proud of your country and happy of where you came from. In the US, it's not always like that. I think it's really inspiring and I think it's really cool. This video doesn't have to be filled with like negative things. There are some positive ones thrown in there too. So I think it's really cool that despite things that people may not be happy with, that there's still a lot of national pride here. I think we're on number 11 of 12 at this point, but the next one I want to say with like no disrespect, so please do not take this personally if this applies to you. Another thing that I have to add onto the list, cigarettes, because in the US I feel like collectively as a generational movement we've kind of canceled them in the US. They've been replaced by other things that people use. I'm not saying that's the best option either, but I'm just saying here it's like that cultural aspect is still so big. When I'm walking down the street, it's just not something that I want to be inhaling in any way, shape, or form. So I find it's something that still affects me. And it's also interesting too, because even when it's like the dead of winter, people will choose to be outside and like eat or drink a coffee or whatever it is, just so they can do that. It seems like, I don't want to say that's always the case, but it seems like that's the case too. It's like, I would much rather prefer being in a warm environment, but that's just my hot take personally. If it applies to you, no offense. It's just collectively in the US, we've kind of like canceled that completely. So it's a shock to me still. And number 12 of 12, if you made it this far in the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. Number 12 of 12 is a personal hot take, because from New York we have the best of it. It's pizza. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If we're comparing Argentine pizza with New York pizza wins every single time. I'm so sorry. New York pizza has the best pizza. I know people from Argentina say that they have the best pizza, but this is a cultural warfare I'm willing to be on the front line defending. I have to speak the truth. If you are visiting Argentina, please let me know anything that shocked you or things you were not expecting down below. And if you're from Argentina visiting another country, let me know what shocks you about living in another country, because I always love to hear the cultural comparisons. If you did enjoy this video, again, give me a like, leave me a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next one.
How are there 25 hours in a day in Argentina, but nowhere else in the world?
Coming at you live from the corner street alley